Yeah, you are live.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Shnattaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatiruttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki शृण्वतां स्वकतः कृष्णपुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदयन्तस्थो हि भद्राणि विदुनोति सुहृत्सताम्. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 18, Text 18 through 21. तं विद्वानभिधासार्हो भगवान् सर्वदर्शनः अन्वमोदत तत्सत्यं वदं तस्य विचिन्तयम्. Synonyms: Tam, him, Pralambasura, Vidwan, knowing quite well. Api, even though, Dasharha, the descendant of Dasharha, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sarvadarshanaha, the omniscient, Anvamodata, accepted, Tat, with him, Sakyam, friendship, Vadam, the killing, Tasya, of him, Vichintayan, meditating upon. Translation: since the Supreme Lord Krishna, who had appeared in the Dasarha dynasty, sees everything, he understood who the demon was. Still, the Lord pretended to accept the demon as a friend, while at the same time seriously considering how to kill him. Text 19. तत्रोपाहूय गोपालान् कृष्णप्राह हे गोप विहरिष्यामो द्वन्द्वीभूय यतायतम्. Tatra, thereupon, Upahuya, calling, Gopalan, the cowherd boys, Krishna, Lord Krishna, Praha, spoke, Viharavit, the knower of all sports and games, He Gopaha, O cowherd boys, Viharishyamaha, let us play, Dvandvi Bhuya, dividing into two groups, Yata Yatam, suitably, translation and purport. Translation: Krishna, who knows all sports and games, then lived together called together the cowherd boys and spoke as follows: Hey, cowherd boys, let's play now. We will divide ourselves into two even teams. Purport: the word yatayatam means that Krishna naturally wanted the two teams to be evenly matched so that there would be a good game. In addition to the pleasure of sporting, the purpose of the game was to kill demon Pralamba. Text 20. तत्र चक्रुः परिवृदौ गोपरामजनार्दनौ कृष्णसङ्गात्तिनः केचिद् आसन् रामस्य चापरे. Synonyms: Tatra, in that game, Chakruhu, they made, Parivridau, two leaders, Gopaha, the cowherd boys, Rama, Janardhanau, Lord Balaram and Krishna, Krishna Sanghatinaha, members of Krishna's party, Kechit, some of them, Asan, became, Ramasya, of Balarama, Cha, and Apare, others. Translation: the cowherd boys chose Krishna and Balarama as their leaders of the two parties. Some of the boys were on Krishna's side and others joined Balarama. Text 21. आचेरुर्विविधाः क्रीडा वह्यवाहकलक्षणाः यत्रोहन्ति जेतारो वहन्ति च पराजिताः. Synonyms: Acheruhu, they performed, Vividaha, various, Kridaha, sports, Vahya, by the carried, Vahaka, the carriers, Lakshanaha, characterized, Yatra, in which, Arohanti, climb, Jetaraha, the winners, Vahanti, carry, Cha, and Parajitaha, the defeated. Translation and purport. Translation: the boys played various games involving carriers and passengers. In these games, the winners would climb upon the backs of the losers who would have to carry them. Purport: Srila Sanatana Goswami quotes the following relevant verses from Vishnu Purana 5:9-12. Harina Kridanam Nama Balakridanakam Tataha Prakridita Hi Te Sarve Dvau Yugapat Utpatam. They then played the childhood game known as Harina Kridanam, in which each boy paired off with an opponent, and all the boys simultaneously attacked their respective rivals. नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we are in the 10th canto, chapter 18, text 18 to 21. So the theme of the verses today is about how Krishna and Balaram have been introduced to this demon called Pralamba. So Pralambasura has been sent by Kamsa, and he has joined the party of the Gopas and Krishna and Balaram in an attempt to actually kill Krishna. So Pralambasura is a little different. It's almost similar to Putana. So Putana, what she did is like she had a very Gora Rupa, and she took the form as a nurse, and she wanted to give poisonous milk to Krishna. And here Pralambasura, he is actually taken the guise of a cowherd boy, and he has joined the party of Krishna and Balaram. And he is actually coming in a way and saying that he is no harm, and he is actually going to be part of their group. And their Krishna and Balaram, along with the Gopas, every day is a festival for them. So whenever they go for grazing taking the cows to the Vrindavan forest to graze, like they typically have a lot of playful pastimes in the banks of river Yamuna, in the Govardhan hill. And similarly, in one day here, when the cowherd boys and Krishna were having a really good time, this Pralambasura has taken the form of a cowherd boy, and he is actually joining them. So Pralambasura entered disguised as a cowherd boy, and Krishna, it's mentioned that Krishna immediately recognized the demon. So a parallel to this is like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matasmritar jnanam apohanam cha vedesya sarvair aham vedya vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. So Krishna is the supreme knower. So he says, Sarvescha saham hridi sannivishta. So he's in the heart of everybody, be it a demon, be it a demigod, be it any living entity, like Krishna is present within the heart as the super soul. So it's not possible to cheat Krishna. So Pralambasura, as and when he entered, Krishna immediately spotted him, and just even though he outwardly accepted him as a friend, and then arranged a game, and basically this is Krishna's Leela. And Krishna is mentioned here in this verse in the text 18 as Sarva Darshanaha. So we have similar words, right? So Krishna is called Sakshi. Sakshi is because he is the witness. So even though we might think, right, we are trying to disguise, or we are trying to cheat somebody or deceive somebody, we might think that we are trying to like get past their knowledge. But there are things in this world which are sakshi always. So typically in the Vedas, it's mentioned that there are two sakshis in this world, which are like nobody can even try to elude, which is the sun and the moon. And the Vedas describe the sun and the moon are, so anytime you go, there is either the sun or the moon, and there is no time when both are not present, right? So typically, like, so Krishna's eyes are called sun and the moon, so which means Krishna is present as the Paramatma, and he is sarva vyapi, he is present in everything. So that's why we see in this prayers of Gajendra, he says jiji vishena hamiha vyakim antarbahishcha abhuta vishnaha. So he says Krishna is present within everybody's heart, and he knows internally what's going on. So that's the mood of this verse, where it says Krishna is sarva darshanaha. Krishna is all knowing, and he knew that this person, this Pralambasura, has taken this form as a boy, but he calmly allowed the demon to remain among them, while considering how to kill him. Right. And then Krishna, in the 19th verse, it said that Krishna called the boys and proposed a game, and they formed like two balanced teams. So it's mentioned in the text 21, this particular game is called Harina Kridanam. Kridanam is playing. Harina Kridanam is a type of play where they have two different groups, and each of the groups is pitted against each other, and whoever wins, they are supposed to be carried by the loser team, right? So that's a game. And in the 19th verse, it says Krishna is actually delineated two evenly matched teams, one led by Krishna and another led by Balaram. So Krishna is leading one team and Balaram is leading another team. They carried the rules of the game is that the loser has to be carrying the winners on their backs, right? So that this is here we saw a verse quoted from the Vishnu Purana, where this particular game is called Harina Kridan. So Prabhupada, so if you see, the purports are really short, right? So we have only two verses where we had purports, but we can take very important teachings from this, right? So one important teaching is that Krishna is simultaneously playful and at the same time he's purposeful. So he's not merely organizing an entertainment, but he's arranging a pastime which is so sweet for his devotees, but at the same time it is fatal for this demon who is Pralambasura, who has entered this particular group. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma samstha bhanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So even in this Leela, we can connect to it and see that how Krishna has this loving relationship with his devotees, where he doesn't want to, since because Pralambasura has entered this particular group, he didn't want to spoil the party or spoil the mood of enjoyment with his devotees. So he still kept playing with them. But in the process of this performing this Leela, he is going to destroy Pralambasura. And the second thing is that the Lord's actions are never random. So he exactly knew what he was doing from the beginning. So the moment Pralambasura entered, Krishna has taken the notice that this person is a demon and he has to be dealt with. And then Krishna says that Krishna is in everybody's heart and he is the witness and the director of all beings. So even though Pralambasura entered with a plan, but Krishna already had a plan which is like one step ahead, and he's going to one up Pralambasura. So one thing is Krishna is called Chitta Chora. Chitta Chora is a person who is actually stealing one's heart, and Krishna is also called Namanita Chora. So one of the there's a beautiful ashtakam called Chora Ashtakam. It's called Vraje Prasidam Navanita Chauram Gopangananam Chadukula Chauram. So Krishna is the person who steals everything, who deceives everybody. But Pralambasura is coming and trying to deceive Krishna here. Pralambasura has come in a disguise, but disguise works only for conditioned souls. It does not work on Krishna. So Krishna immediately, as mentioned in the verse 18, he is to the heart of the point. He saw right through the false appearance. Immediately he was able to understand that Pralambasura has entered, right? That's one point. So Krishna can never be deceived. And the second point we can turn from this is that the Lord can turn any danger, any situation into a Leela. So Krishna is called Swarat. So there is nobody controlling Krishna, and Krishna is the supreme controller. So in the first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we see Janmadhyasya yataha अन्वयात् इतरतस्त अर्थेषु अभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदि कवये मुह्यन्ति यत् सूरय तेजो वारि मृतां यथा विनिमये यत्र त्रिसर्गामृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरष्टकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. So Krishna is the supreme Lord. So there's nothing which controls or binds Krishna. And here Pralambasura is trying to come and one up Krishna and try to see if he can kill Krishna, but Krishna is turning the danger into Leela. So we saw this in multiple instances: Krishna killing Bhutana, Krishna killing Sakatasura, Krishna killing Agasura. Agasura is an interesting example because it's similar to this, where the other demons, they tried to kill Krishna alone, but Agasura, along with Krishna, he also took all the Gopas along with him, right? So Krishna made that into a pleasurable activity even for the Gopas. So we see Govardhan Leela, we see the Brahma Vimohan Leela. All these are Leelas because Krishna is having this loving relationship with the devotees at the same time, like killing the miscreants, right? So that's the second point we can take, where the Supreme Lord can turn even a small danger into a Leela. And the third point, which we all know, but one thing to explain is that Krishna is in the verse, it's described as Krishna is described as Viharavit, which is a person who knows all the games and all pleasures, and anything which happens in Prajabhumi is actually transcendental. So bhakti in this context, just to drive this point, is that bhakti is not dry negation. So spiritual life includes affection. It has different varieties. It has movement. It has laughter and play centered around Krishna, and that fits repeatedly this particular description of Krishna's pastimes, where Krishna has this loving relationships and loving mood, and where not every just because it's called spiritual, it need not be without rasa. So here Krishna is enacting spiritual pastimes, but anything which happens in Braja is spiritual, but at the same time supremely blissful, and it has loving relationships with the Supreme Personality of Lord and his devotees. And the fourth thing we can take home is that the false friendships versus real friendship, right? So here, Pralambasura has come and taken this role as the cowherd boy and is portraying himself as Krishna's friend. But Krishna is Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Jnatva Bhutadiravyam. So he's the person who is Suhrid. Suhrid is a Suhrid. Hrid is heart, and Su is like one who is so interested in having the others' best wishes in his heart. Is called a Suhrid. So Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. But here, the demon comes here with a hidden hostility. So he wants to actually make sure that he can one up Krishna. But Krishna responds with perfect knowledge, and he knows that this is a demon and he's going to deal with him. So this can be contrasted, and we say the world in the outside world can offer masked friendships, but Krishna is the person who offers real friendship because he is the Suhrid, and he says, I am the controller of everything in this world. Anything which happens in this world is under my control. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyadesa characharam hetuna anena kaunteya jagat parivartate. So anything and everything which happens in this world is under the control of the Supreme Lord. So if we want true friendship, then we need to seek Krishna. So those are like four important points we can take from this, right? So in addition to this, I would like to talk about the anarthas which Pralambasura represents. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so they have explained in terms of these anarthas in the Krishna Leela, right? So all these anarthas which we have in our heart. So typically in the process of bhakti, we go through different stages. We go to Adav Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivriti, Nishta, Ruchi, Sakti, Asakti, Bhava, Ruchi, Prema, right? So all these are different stages in the path of Bhakti Yoga. And here, this Anartha Nivriti is very important because that's the crucial stage where most of the devotees are there because they start with Shraddha and then Sadhu Sangha and then Bhajana Kriya. They're able to perform the sadhana bhakti. But the Anartha Nivriti stage is where you get rid of your anarthas in the heart. So here, Pralambasura is actually representing a very interesting anartha. And I also want to point to the fact that of all the demons which were killed in the Krishna Leela, and Pralambasura is one of the demons who was killed by Balaram. Krishna doesn't kill Pralambasura. So Krishna also doesn't kill Dhenukasura. So we saw this in an earlier lecture, right? So Dhenukasura is another demon which was killed by Pralambasura. Here by Balaram. Here Pralambasura is also going to be killed by Balaram, and it's very interesting to know that here the Pralambasura is the one who is going to represent this particular attitude in us called the lust and the desire for profit, adoration, and distinction. So this is called in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition as called Pratishta, Puja, and Labha. So Pratishta is the interest to have power and then being worshipped, have this internal desire to be worshipped by others, and then having material greed, which is Lobha. So this Pralambasura has this urge, or this that represents this urge for sense enjoyment, especially the attraction to opposite sex, along with like subtle craving for recognition, prestige, and self-importance. So that's what Pralambasura represents, and Krishna and Balaram by show. And if you see the pastime also, right, Pralambasura, the way he enters is like he takes this false covering and he shows that he's like really good, and then he enters. This is typically how Maya Devi tricks us. Typically what happens is like we are given a sweet option to be deceived, and we cave into that desire, and then that gets us into this loop where we are continuously being put into this cycle of birth and death. So Pralambasura represents that lusty desire for Pratishta, Puja, and Lobha, Asha, right? So that's basically what Pralambasura represents. And this demon of Pralambasura can only be killed by Balaram, and Balaram represents the Guru Tattva. So once we surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we take shelter of a lotus feet of the Guru, then by the mercy of the Guru, then we'll be able to get rid of this, because Guru is a representative of Balaram, and because of that, Nityananda Prabhu is a representative of Balaram. So because of that, we'll be able to gradually get rid of this tendency or this anartha of trying to have Pratishta, Puja, Lobha, and that particular tendency which we typically have, that anartha is vanquished by Balaram. So with that mood, we would like to pray to Supreme Lord Balaram and Nityananda Prabhu to help us get past this particular anartha. So that's what this particular pastime of Pralambasura killing is exemplifying to us, right? So the purports and the translation for these verses were very short, but there are the messages we can drive home. Like, I'll just rephrase what we discussed. One is like, Krishna is a supreme lord and he can never be deceived, and he's at the heart of every living entity, and he knows exactly what is going on in everybody's heart. He's the supreme sakshi. That's one point. And then the second point we discussed was like, Krishna can change any dangerous situation into a lila or a pastime. We saw the examples of Agasura, Bakasura, and this particular pastime of Pralambasura, where he's actually creating this event, like where they are playing in two different groups and fighting amongst each other. And as a process of performing this lila, he's going to kill Pralambasura. And then in Vrajabhumi, whatever happens is actually spiritual. So because of Krishna's presence and the loving relationships with the Supreme Lord by the devotees of Vraja, everything in Vraja is spiritual. And the fourth point we can take home is that false friendship versus real friendship. So Krishna is the Suhrid, or he is the supreme benefactor, but anything else which is not taking towards Krishna is actually false friendship. And Pralambasura is representing that false friendship, which is the lusty desire for Pratishta Puja Loba, which is the tendency to have pride, prestige worshipped, and then having greed. So Krishna and Balaram, especially Balaram, who's a representative guru, will help us get rid of this particular anartha so that we can process in the process of bhakti. So those are some of the points I can gather on this topic. So thank you so much for giving me an opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
No question.
No question. No question, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
No question.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.